10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome. It is Wednesday. You know what that means. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, June the 7th. Can you believe that? June the 7th. That's what I'm showing anyway. I hope it's June the 7th, anyways. 2023. Let's see. First off, I just got to say welcome, Steve Blevins, new Patreon member. Thank you for your support. 206 days left in this year. Can you believe that? This year is flying by. Let's see. Today is National World Food Safety Day. It's very important that you have safe food, you know. Pretty soon you're going to be eating grasshoppers, chocolate covered, we hope, anyways. So, you know, it's important that the food is going to be safe. Uh, but it's also National Chocolate Ice Cream Day. Now, chocolate ice cream, I should have had some chocolate ice cream because that actually sounds good. It's National VCR Day and it's National Running Day. Yeah, that one's going to go far. Let's see, not much is going on in this world. We just finished our wheel. Gary Jocham won that big metal detector. We'll do it again probably next week or something like that. Give away another detector or something. What's planned here? Let's see. The camp is opened. We got some deals and that going on for the upcoming season. So if you're planning on wanting to do any prospecting and you want to get early start, you can go Gold Fever Adventures and goldfeveradventuresandresort.com. You can check out the rates and all that type of stuff there. Any specials. Got our New Year's event coming up the end of the year, December 27th through 1st. If you've never been to one of them, that's a whole lot of fun. We got the Meadview Push still. That's in October 28th, 29th. There's still a few openings left on that too. 928-851-7167. I am going dredging later this month. I'm probably going to leave about 21st, I think. Going to Colorado. It takes me 3 days to get there. It's about a 12-hour drive, I think it is, but I do 12 hours in, three days. So it'll take me 3 days to get up there. Going up there with David and Gary in Colorado. They've all got 4-inch dredges, and I'm going to take my 4-inch dredge and go up there, and I'm going to have some fun. Let's see who's hanging out here already. Who's early here? Let's see. Minuteman Adventures. Hello. Guy Carl. Good evening. Josh Cooper. Welcome. Herb Cato. Welcome. Paul. Welcome. PA Patriot Prospecting. Terry Curry. Mark W. Hello. Mike Bush. One thing I didn't do, I didn't post the link. I'll post it. I'll do aftermath. Anyways, that's all that's happening here. We have our special guest in the house. I see him down in there getting things all ready to go. So as soon as I see him, I'm going to bring him on in. Are we ready to go here? And there he is. Okay, here we are. Good evening.
Hey, all. How's it going?
How you doing, man? Oh, that's right. I forgot. Guy, I forgot all about that. Guy Carl. I did get your present, Guy. Thank you, bud. Guy sent me this thing here. I got to do this. I forgot all about this here. So, Guy sent me. Let me show. He sent me this plaque. Not all those who wander are lost. Cool plaque. I'm going to hang that up. And he just sent me this personal little note. Sending a gift, blah, blah, inside information. Okay, anyways, Exit from Hell. He's also the same one that sent me this visa exit from hell because I do say a lot I'm going to hell. So I have an exit to visa for. So I have to keep that close by. But I did get that guy. Cool. Thanks, bud. I appreciate it. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Those that don't know who you are, Mr. Gold Fox, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
You bet. I'm Kelly Fowler here at Gold Fox USA. I'm the owner and I'm the inventor of most of all this equipment.
And
And
I tell you what, it's some kick-ass equipment.
it's unique and it's different because that stuff is all hand built, and we take pretty good pride in what we build.
You've been doing them. I think the first time I ever saw any of your product was the trommel that sat up on top of the gold cube
Correct.
years and years ago, and I was always impressed with that, and saw some of your little high bankers and all of that, and I always thought that's a pretty slick unit. One of these days, I'm going to have to get me one of them. And so I finally did get that trommel, which one day I got to send back to you to remodify uh, for the gold cube. But that was quite a few years ago, and yeah,
Yeah, I think you got the Generation 1 model, which, there's been quite a few changes since then. But what's neat about that is all of the current changes that we made will adapt to those. So it's you're not totally out that trommel. You can send it in and we can upgrade it. It don't cost much to upgrade it, and put it back into good working order. The earlier ones had the PVC coupler that worked between the hopper and the barrel joint, and you'd get sand and some types of rocks in there, and would create some binding. So
yeah.
I came up with a new system that's a urethane coupler, so it flexes and moves at that joint, and that problem was solved.
That's once in a while you'll hear the rock get in there, punch,
Right.
type thing. But
Yeah.
no, so I keep saying, actually, I've got it all boxed up, and one of these days I was going to send it in, but it is in a box, and it's not sealed, but it is in a box and wrapped up and all that. So it's getting closer to that point.
Well, when you go dredging, send it the day before you leave. That way you don't have to worry about it. When you get back, it's there.
Well, that part's true.
Yeah.
I'm taking the I've got some other little the gold boxes. I'm taking that little cleanup machine, and that
Yeah.
I'm taking that with me because that is going to be cool to do. When you're done dredging, you have a lot of concentrates, and
Correct.
panning that many concentrates. I mean, if I run a dry washer, I can pan that out. That's one pan, but that dredge that produces a hell of a lot of concentrates. So little cleanup machine is going to be sweet.
Yeah, you can do that right by the campfire too.
Oh, I know, it's so cool. But no, the funny thing is, now, I've always kind of liked trommels. I think one of the first trommels I ever found was this homemade job from somebody, and that didn't work too well. And I ended up picking up this other one, and that was kind of a cool little trommel. I won't down it too bad because I think that I sold it to somebody. I think that's in the chat room there, so I can't say it's too bad. Uh, but then I picked up that gold claimer. What a piece of shit that thing was. I mean, what a piece of shit. And I ain't afraid to say that. And I told him that and talked to him on the thing. That thing loses gold, sloshed all over the place. And, it's one thing, like, let's say with you, for instance, if there's a problem, you'll take care of a problem.
Absolutely.
With this guy, want to no part of it. Sorry, he says, whatever, basically. Wouldn't even help out, wouldn't even do anything, and I just thought, what a piece of crap. You spend that much money, and it's just is a hood ornament, not even a hood ornament. It just sits there rotting away now. So I went through that trommel, and then, I end up with the Gold Fox trommel. And I got to tell you, out of all trommels, that was one kick-ass machine. I thoroughly enjoyed using it. And when it was set up here during our outings that we had, people were running it, and people were like, "Whoa, man, this is cool. Is this for sale? How do I get one?" Type thing. A lot of people actually liked that unit. It's an awesome unit. So,
Yeah, it's so user friendly.
Yeah, I can't take that to Colorado because it's too big.
Well, we'll send this other one with you.
Yeah, but see the cleanup, the little mini monster. That's perfect because it already ran everything with the dredging, so everything's already down. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up the concentrates.
Sure, sure.
And I know people. I know one of the guys that's up there when we did dredging, ever how many years ago it was. He had the trommel on top of the gold cube, and that's how he did his cleanup. So I can't wait to show these guys my cleanups.
Yeah, just put it in a little suitcase. It'll all fit, and then just pull the suitcase out. And say, "This is my cleanup machine," and then you pop it open, and boom.
Yeah. So that's right. So everybody wondering, who did I see pop in here? Cloud Hopper. I found my huge nugget this week. All right, congratulations. Uh, Under a microscope. Oh, yeah, I know that feeling. Uh, so you're the maker of the trommel, the Gold Fox trommel, and then you had the little high banker, the what's that high banker called?
That is like the 5-inch standard machine, and then we make another one that's a little bit bigger than that one, that was called the 5-inch deluxe. It has a wider sluice, longer sluice, and then it has a flare built into it. And then the trommel itself has a lot of features that the standard doesn't. It's more of the Cadillac. The deluxe is more of the Cadillac of that series, where the standard is your entry level.
So if you just got a high banker, can you later on then put the trommel on top of that?
Absolutely. We make an OmniFox that they call is the universal topper. So it's the topper only. Will fit any sluice out there up to 13 inches wide.
Wow.
So we have these set of brackets that will fit, it can go on an 8-inch wide sluice, or you can take those brackets off and put them on a 10-inch wide, and they're adjustable in width this way. And it'll always marry up the trommel to it. So you can basically add that trommel to any sluice.
Oh, that's slick then.
Yeah. Yeah. Try to make
And
it so, everybody's got options.
so then you came out with that little. I tell you what, that was one kick-ass machine. I thoroughly enjoy using that little mini monster one. That is
Right.
so lightweight, backpackable. The only thing I say on that is you can't let your battery sit too long or they go dead. I
Right.
didn't realize that on where those certain batteries you got to keep them charged all the time or
Yeah.
they'll go dead on you.
So most all the lithium batteries that are produced now for tool batteries, they contain a microchip in them for discharge. So they'll never run the battery completely dead. They'll always leave 2 volts in there, and then your tool will quit working. That's to protect the battery, so that when you put it on the charger, the charge rate is equal and going in there, you're not building too much heat. If you don't have that chip in there, then you could take the risk of running that battery completely dead, and then it's almost impossible to get it charged back unless you have a good balanced charger.
And that's probably, I mean, if I know some of these, like, I guess if you get a cheaper battery, then they don't have the chip in them and then they go dead or something. But I don't know. But anyway, so I got some batteries on all my units. I got spare batteries and eyes. But anyway, so that I really do like that machine. And I'm not saying that just as as anything else, but for as far as there's a lot of prospecting equipment out there. I mean, there's a ton of prospecting equipment, and true. I mean, people that use the equipment can actually tell you if it's any good or not. And
Right.
and if I really thought your equipment wasn't any good, you wouldn't be sitting right there right now. So
That's correct.
So I really believe in your equipment. I think you do a fantastic job, and your customer service and support is awesome too. So
Yeah, we're getting better with that. When we're all working and in the shop, we don't have time to grab the phone. And I know I need to have somebody here on the phone all the time, but you also need to know about the product, and you need to know what does what and why and all that. Well, that comes back to me. So I'm normally the guy that answers the phone, but I spend almost every day on the TIG welder, and I spend almost every day in the powder coat oven, and it's just a continuous thing.
And that's all you do every day.
Every day. I've done that for 11 years.
That's what I was going to ask you. So, what got you started in building prospecting equipment in the very first place?
Well, we were up mining a place, and I made a 8-inch trommel just out of junk I had laying around, and we used a lot of the gears and the chains out of a 10-speed bike. We started there. It was just it kind of happened by accident, really. But we built that. We used it, and we got gold. We got lots of gold, and me and my buddy, we were like, it's just too bad you couldn't have one that was smaller, that would fit in the back of your vehicle easily. One person could load it for the guys that mine by themselves and that. So we kind of brainstormed it and put it together, and we came out with that 5-inch trommel, and it kind of started from there, and it just really got the first prototype one was with parts that I had laying around. Some parts I robbed out of cars. I used this, I used that, whatever. And then we fine-tuned it as we progressed and evolved into what is known today of the machines. It's pretty interesting. So I had a gold cube, and one of the things I hated about the gold cube was I had to hand classify my material down to 1/8 inch. So I thought, I already built the 5-inch ones. I'm going to build one and adapt it to the gold cube that works. And so we did that. And I think it was on a Memorial Day weekend, common dig, that there was a bunch of people up there. We weren't part of it. We were doing our own thing. And people coming by, snapping pictures and all of this. And next thing I know, it's probably 2-3 weeks later, and Mike Pung calls me and says, I like that trommel. How many you got? How many do you want?
And away you went.
Yeah, pretty much history from there.
Well, hey, that's pretty cool because it is an awesome thing. And as I say, I bought one of my first ones at some gold show out here too. But
Well,
I think I found your person to answer your phones for you.
yeah,
Her name is Heidi.
yeah. She's pretty busy.
Well, she's here in the chat room here.
Hi, Heidi.
Must be somebody you know.
She's got like 10 or 20 different jobs, so that answering the phone's kind of out of there. She does when she's here and that, but when we're slinging metal and welding and going, and it's pretty interesting. Your day goes by in like 15 minutes. It's crazy.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
There's just a lot of product and a lot of stuff, and keeping on schedule and keeping up with people, and it's a handful.
No, I'm sure it's busy. The what's that nice piece of red thing I see sitting behind you? That looks pretty cool. That's a nice color. I like that color.
Well, it's good that you like that because it's going to match your mini high banker. This is actually your unit, Jack.
It's my unit? That's
it's
mine?
yours.
Oh.
I know how you like surprises, and you don't even have to wait for UPS.
Hey, all right. That'd been funny if I had my little unit right here. I thought about after we got in, but so that thing's going to go right on the mini, right? The mini.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, look at that. That is so sweet.
It is quite the evolved piece of little technology. We've really minimized a lot of things in it. This thing actually has no welding in it. The barrel is a ABS plastic, Schedule 40. It's pretty thick, and then the punch plate that's inside there is a poly barrel. And this quarter moon piece in here extends that wash cycle for the length of the barrel. It gives it an extra revolution and a half before it lets material out, so you get a longer wash cycle in a short barrel. So instead of having a trommel that's this long, we shrink it all down and extend the wash cycle. Now we have this little 6-pound trommel package it's all made out of metal. There's no plastic in it. It's got a stainless steel grizzly grate that you can flip up if you're running crushed material or anything like that. Or if you're running some stuff that you dug, this will hold the bigger rocks in here and get them washed off. And then when you're ready to send them through, you just lift the grate up and let them go on through. The opening in here is about a little over 2 inch because it's a small trommel. But what's unique,
perfect
yeah,
for concentrates.
And this thing doesn't lose any water out of anywhere because the spray bar comes in, runs down this, exits into the top, and then we have 2 double washes that really floods the hopper, so you're really going to get some washing action. This, you can control the speed of the water with the speed controller built into our dual box. And it's really a unique little piece of equipment.
How does it attach?
It attaches just like your bigger one. It has these nut certs that are built into this. This will drop right into your Mini, and then you just run 1/4-inch bolts into it and you're done. You use the same adjustment rod that's in the Mini, and it's got 4 adjustments for the angle of the trommel, depending on what material you're running, determines how steep this needs to be or how flat it needs to be. Dry material, you're going to want to run it pretty flat, so it spends a lot of time inside the barrel. Wet material, out of the river, you're going to probably take it up a couple clicks because it doesn't need to spend as much time inside the barrel. It just needs to classify it and get rid of it.
Let me ask you that question while you just said that. I've heard a lot of people say you should wet your material first before you run it. Why would you want to wet the material? Like, let's just say if I was running it, generally I would just shovel my material right out into a Gold Cube or into the Fox or whatever. Why would I want to wet that first?
Well, if you've got some clays in there or you've got some gold that may be stuck to the rocks, you're going to give it a little bit extra soak time. Granted, you're gonna break it down, but you're also probably a little easier on dust control and that kind of thing. When you feed it into the machine, it's gonna separate easier than dry material. It's kind of like when you put a scoop of chocolate milk in your milk, a scoop of Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah.
If you don't put that in first and then put your milk in and stir it up, some of it floats on top. Well, it's the same concept with that. If you've got really dry material, you're going to get some of that that's going to float on top and maybe right on out inside your barrel. But this little unit's got plenty of water going into the hopper. It's got plenty of water spray action inside the barrel. So even if you did add it dry, you're still going to be fine with it. But I think wetter material, what I was referring to is if you were maybe digging in a stream somewhere where there was water, that wet material would not need to spend as much time inside the trommel because it's already pre-wetted. It's gonna process easier than dry would.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I would have said I would have ran it more flatter anyway, just for the purpose. The longer that material can stay inside there before, same with the dry washer, high bank or anything, yes. The flatter you can run it, the longer that material stays there before it exits out, the better recovery should be.
Well, and having the adjustments under the trommel gives you that option of, standing the trommel up a little bit more. We're only talking maybe 4 or 5 degrees each move, and some of them it's 2 degrees. But having that option, you're going to process more material because it's going to go in, it's going to get sized, and then it's going to get sent out. Our bigger machines is where it's really crucial. The smaller machines, you could run it just about anywhere, and it's just going to do what it does because the classification in this is 1/8 of an inch. It's fairly small on the classification. So say like your dredge materials, you have your concentrates, you can run it through the Mini without the trommel on it. knock it down and get your bigger pieces out, because your classification on that is 3/8. When you take that material and you've got all that tiny gold, it's always a fun one to pan. Then you can just turn around and throw it through the trommel, and it will knock out 80% of your bigger pieces.
Uh, so Daniel Grubby says, "Can you see that?"
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to build it. Somebody's got to do it.
That's funny right there, dude.
Add on. Just keep adding on.
Hey, you know what? That's what I say too. I got more equipment than, but every once in a while, like about every 5 years, it seems like out with the stuff that you don't use, and you keep the stuff that you do like. And if you come to my place, you'll see the stuff that I like. And like I said earlier, I think the Gold Fox, you do a good job on it. So uh, I'm impressed.
Oh,
So
good.
let's see. I was going to say something before I lost my train of thought there, Daniel. I'm going to blame that onto you too. We're talking about wet stuff. Okay. Oh, so like a dredging, you get a lot of what's a dredge probably has what, half-inch punch plate, or is it smaller? What?
Yeah, you probably
A
3/8
4 inch?
or 1/2 inch on a 4 inch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably 3/8. It might be 3/8. It's probably what it is on the dredge, 3/8. And your punch plate, you said in that trommel was 3/8.
The punch plate in that mini trommel is 1/8 inch.
1/8 inch. Okay.
Eighth
So
inch.
so then it would make sense to all your concentrates from that dredge to run it through the trommel, because you've got your larger pieces of rocks. Now they have been washed already, but you still have to classify all. And I know the secret, like with panning. So to get rid of all the larger rocks and bring everything down to that same size, less than an 1/8 inch, is better for panning rather than trying to pan large rocks with fine gold.
Absolutely.
So tell everybody why you want everything the same size when you're panning.
Well, for one, your magnets are going to work, and your water flow in your pan's going to work better, because your water's not trying to go around a boulder. And basically, if you have a 3/8 size stone, you can get to your gold quicker with that stuff out of there. Um, Basically, the smaller gold always hides underneath all the little, the black sands and that. It's always going to be underneath it. So if we can get down to where everything's equal in size, your specific gravity of things are a lot better than running your stones and stuff inside your pan.
Okay, that I'm going to say that's the engineer telling you how it's done.
Well, that's all I know.
No, I was going to say the lame or the other person, the idiot guy that would tell you how it's done. I mean, the reason it's harder to have to bump that larger stuff out of your pan, and the smaller stuff's going to follow it. So it takes
True.
more water to get rid of the larger rocks than it does the smaller stuff. So if you can break it down to that smaller size, everything's equally, and the smaller goal
Yes.
is not going to. That's what I'm trying to explain. I don't know what I'm trying to explain, but I'm trying to say that.
I think the key to it all, no matter the size of the gold, is classification.
And
If you
that's where
can
that trommel is going to kick ass.
Exactly. It's not designed for bigger gold. It's designed for 1/8 inch and smaller gold. Later on, we'll have some other barrels available that will have bigger holes, maybe quarter, maybe up to large of 3/8. But for right now, to kick this thing off into where we're going with it, it's going to be 1/8 inch. And most of your gold found throughout the country is that 1/8 inch and smaller size. So it's really, one of those things you could go set up on Nome somewhere on the beach, and because it's all small beach gold, run that through it, knock out the big stuff, take the stuff that comes out and pan away from there. One of the nice features is this is a piece of the screen material. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
This is 1/8 inch.
Oh, okay.
We get these in 4-foot sections, and then we chop them to what we want, and then they're married to some ABS collars. And we're trying to minimize the labor in this thing so that we can offer it at a decent rate. Anybody can build anything out of plastic because it really takes no skill other than heating up the plastic and injecting it into a mold, and away you go. But when you have a truly hand-built machine, it goes from your design to your layout to make this hopper. There's a lot of angles. There's a lot of things going on there. You can see the aluminum gear in there. We went aluminum to save weight. And it's all powder coated. This one here has been laser welded on the corners, inside and out. So the pieces, when they're fit together, don't have much of a gap. So it takes very minimal filler. And then everything is just pretty much built, riveted together, and they're pretty stout units.
You do a good weld job.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
My weld.
Yeah. Well, I got a little more practice, Jack.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example, this is a gear out of one of those minis.
Wow.
This one has been laser welded. So with that video you saw of this going around on the rotisserie getting welded, this is one of those gears.
Oh, okay.
You see how thick the gear is. It's about 1/2 inch thick. And then this inner piece is only 80 thousandths thick. So if you've ever welded aluminum, you know that you really got to concentrate your heat into the thick part and then whip it over into the thin, or you'll just blow right through it. So with this laser welder, it minimizes all of that. You just, I think it takes less than a minute to weld one of these with that.
Wow.
So
aluminum is harder to weld than regular steel too.
Correct. It's a little more finicky.
So you said you made how many of them already, and how many's gone? What was you telling me earlier?
We produced 50 of them for the first run, and I think we have 12 left. So they just went because I had introduced a while ago, we're coming out with this, and things just take time to build something super lightweight. This machine, as it sits right now, right here, this weighs 6 pounds in a mini trommel.
Wow. That's not much weight.
It isn't. It's pretty cool. And it's built out of 80 thou aluminum, so it's not your lighter aluminum. It's our thicker that we use on our other machines. So I like to build stuff that's going to last, especially when it comes to hand-built stuff. We're pretty finicky on keeping quality and durability. So we got.
Okay, so you answered. So Terry, your question got answered. How much does it weigh? That just got answered. John says his Mini Max High Banker has excellent fit and finish. You guys do excellent work.
Thanks, John. So what we were talking about before on the control boxes, the ones we produced for the Mini High Banker had a single speed controller. So we knew that when we came out with the trommel that we were going to have to build a dual speed controller. Using the similar setup, we went to a bigger ammo box, and we put 2 of those in there. And then we also changed the connectors. The older ones had a box like, it was a little smaller than this one. And then your cord came out and went to your machine. We eliminated that so you could keep this lid closed. And we went with, these are a solar for like an RV or a camper plug-in. And then we make up a 5-foot little cord that's got like a trailer plug-in. So it can't get mixed up. You can use either end of the cord. You don't have to worry about polarity. It only goes in one way. and they just kind of they fit in there nice and tight. And then this would go to your like your trommel or your pump. I think that this one is the pump, this one's trommel, they're labeled. And then on the inside, we have 2 speed controllers. One's labeled trommel, one's labeled pump. They're, equal to each side. And then we have a battery receiver here, and then a fuse holder here. So if you were to get a rock jammed in your pump or the trommel jammed, it's going to pop the fuse and protect this unit. These are some of the upgrades that we did versus the older ones. We will have the boxes available on our website pretty soon. So if you have a sluice that you want to run and you just want to buy the box, it will be available.
Now that's a speed controller in there too?
Yeah, so I'm going to take a battery. Here's a battery. And we're going to just plug it in. And you can off and on switch.
Let me zoom in on you here. Let me get you zoomed in there. Okay.
So you have an off and on switch. You just push the button to turn it off and on. Right now they're on and the green light is on. So I want to shut this one off. I just push the button. Same here. Turn them back on. They're independent of each other. And then as you dial this up, this speed controller will go to 100%. And if I shut it off, it's always going to remember where it's at. So you won't have to mess with your settings. Once you get it set, and then you can close the lid, keeps everything dry. Your extension cords are going out to your machine, and away we go. It's just that simple.
So that one box then will replace the other box of the other one, of the mini. So that box will run both.
Yeah, we're going to, if you buy a combo, so if you buy the mini high banker and the trommel at the same time, you're going to get this box for right now. As we later, we'll have these boxes available on the website independently. You'll be able to buy just the box.
So that unit that I've got, then I wouldn't need that little control box anymore then, because that box there will run both of them.
Exactly. I'm sending you this setup right here, because that'll run both your pump and your trommel, and you'll have independent speed control for each one.
I like it.
Yeah.
But what's cool is once you're done then with the trommel, then you can shut that off and give your machine a chance to clean itself out without having to run down. That's cool. That's slick. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm going to send you a charger with it too, because these newer ones are a Milwaukee battery. These are Milwaukee. The difference between a Milwaukee and a DeWalt. So that earlier we were talking about a microchip that protects the over discharge of the battery. Milwaukee batteries have the over discharge built into the battery. On a DeWalt system, the over discharge is built into the tool. So like if you had a DeWalt drill, that microchip is built into the tool to protect the battery from being over discharged.
Cool.
It's a little technical.
That's slick. I like it. It's a pretty color. What colors do you make?
Just about anything you can think of, I think. There is there's candy purple. That's a popular one.
That's pretty look.
It is. And there's a dark forest green, so kind of that army look. There's a neon orange, a neon green, a bright blue. Then we have some in a wrinkle black with a silver vein, wrinkle black with a copper vein. It's pretty good for different applications of what somebody may want. For right now, we're limiting the colors to black and blue just because there's such a demand for it. If you want something you're just dead set on, like candy purple, for instance, you need to private message me or put it in the footnotes when you order it on the website, and we'll make it happen for you.
guy says, do you have a battery connection for the rigid batteries?
At this point, I do not. What we have for receiver docks are for DeWalt 20 volt and Milwaukee 18 volt.
So the Mini Max, I don't know what John is saying. There's somebody on YouTube that does Dream Mat combo and Jarvin Riffles retorfit. Have you ever considered that option for the Mini Max? What kind of mat are you using in the Mini Max?
We have 3 different mats that you can get. You can get a Gold Hog mat that's set up for, it's mostly mother load, a little bit of Talon and Razorback. That's one option. Another option is the urethane mat. That's what you have, Jack, is the urethane. And then also a combo mat from Dream Mat. We're offering that as well. That's another option. The Jarvine Riffle is basically a nugget trap built into the top of the box to break up the flow. So if you have some gold that's floating in with the water, it's got another chance to be grabbed and sucked down into like miner's moss or that. We do have some of that stuff available. It can be added. Like the urethane mat that you have, Jack, where the nugget trap is, that acts like a Jarvine riffle at the beginning of that mat. That's why we did it that way. So we didn't have another zone that we have to clean out. We were trying to keep it very simple.
Well, that machine is, you can't get any simpler than pull that mat out and get the gold out of there.
Exactly.
And I've always, and I have tested that mat too. I'm very old school where I believed miner's moss is the only way to go. I just grew up miner's moss. All these fancy riffles started coming out with rubber this and rubber that, and I just, you know what, it ain't any good. They ain't any good. They ain't any good. And I've tested a lot of them, and even in that Gold Fox, I might say I'm not a rubber mat guy, but I tell you what, it does capture the gold. So, and I've tested the pans in the bottom. I mean, every great while I might find a little flick or something that might make it through, but I just can't believe that it actually catches the gold.
Yeah. Well, the technology in a lot of that, and you're working off of fluid dynamics and pressures and that, it really makes a difference in engineering a mat that will work or mimic what your miner's moss and riffle system would do, but make it simpler and easier for the end user. And that's really what it's all about, so that you can get to your gold quicker with less hassle. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with all the equipment. I mean, we've got big equipment, we've got small equipment. The small equipment really is what people are geared towards, because it becomes more of a personalized item that you can put in your backpack and away you go. You've got a little system that you can go do. You're not going to run yards of material with it, because it was never designed for that. If you want to run yards, come get one of our 14 footers and get a backhoe. I mean,
yeah, no, that little one is perfect just for backpacking, because it'll all fit in that back, and it folds up. The little mini monster folds up so nice, and the lightweight of it all, and the battery pack, and there's no gas and oil and all that, and you can just take off up into the desert or the mountains and find a little stream if you've got one there.
Right.
Perfect. I wish we had water.
Right. So yeah, we've got that, and maybe I ought to hook up my mobile here and we can go take a little tour.
We're going to do that. Let me while you go do that, let me pay a bill here, play a commercial, and then we'll come back and you'll be in your shop. Cool. We'll see what Kelly. Okay, hold on, folks. We'll be right back.
ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal is the only monthly gold prospecting magazine published in the United States, and is the most comprehensive and respected magazine about gold prospecting on the market today. With readers in all 50 states, it features articles on detecting, high banking, dredging, small-scale operations, assaying, basic geology, how to read the land, regulations, and more. Our monthly Ask the Experts column is answered by true experts. It features answers to readers' questions on processing, detecting, geology, and any other questions you may have related to finding and recovering gold and other precious metals. The Mining Journal features the most extensive selection of equipment, mining properties, services, and more, and a classified section featuring over 20 times more new and used items than the nearest competitor. The Mining Journal has been in continuous publication since 1931. A full 12 issues is available for just $27.95, and discounts are available for 2- and 3-year subscriptions. And an online subscription gives you access to over 3,000 articles going back nearly 20 years. Our purpose is to teach you how to find more gold. ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal is the tool you need to succeed. It's time to raise your gold prospecting knowledge to the next level with ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal. Give us a call at 831-479-1500 or visit www.icmj.com. That's www.icmj.com.
All right, welcome back. We're with Kelly with Gold Fox. That feedback is coming from your phone there.
Yeah. I'm moving out of there.
Okay, let me see if I can take that one off and then put this one on, if that helps there. Okay, you're now the shop. I've got a bag of dirt here, a bag of gold that I got to give away that I said I was going to give away from the last video. So here in a moment, I'm going to be asking you guys that question. But first, we're looking at Kelly's shop, and I left the question over in the next room. So while we're looking at the shop here, I'm going to run and get that question. So I'm going to leave you. Whoa, look at all that room. So I'm going to leave you here to show all this stuff here.
Okay. So guys, this is our main assembly room. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in here most of the time. We've got a pretty good sized shop. This is our build table. This is where everything gets built. And for you guys that want to know if there was dream mat, there's some combo mat and a mini right there. That one's getting ready for its legs to go on. Here we have we've got a gold cube trommel going together. Got all our nuts and bolts and stuff organized. We got all our tools, our drills set with each tool in each one, so you don't have to switch out. This one here, plenty of air riveters. Yeah, we pull about, I don't know, a couple 10,000 of those in a month. Here's another one that's going together. Another one waiting to get rollers put in. Here's some ammo cans with the parts waiting to be assembled for some minis. And then here we've got boxing for units to go in. There's gold cube trommels, there's standards, there's deluxes, there's omni toppers. Go around here. This is actually some of our barrels, some of our hoppers. Those are mini hoppers. We've got welded up for the next round for the mini trommel. We've got quite a bit of stuff, like I said. If we switch over to this table, here's a deluxe, getting the matting put in it right here. Here's one of our signature nugget zone, nugget trap drops. Works like a Jarvine riffle, but a little bit better. It allows the bigger nuggets to get stuck in here and stay there, but yet lets everything still flow. That's a quick and easy setup. We got hog matting. We've got wash pipe assemblies. We've got a few more minis there. There's some more wash pipes. There's some dream mat. There's a new model that isn't out yet. So that's where most of this stuff happens. All the models end up going into our test tank here, getting checked for water water flow, water direction, and then we also run the trommel for a few minutes just to make sure everything's good before it ends up going into the box and getting the label put on it and shipped out. Over here, we've got some more of the mini trommels built up. We got all the parts stacked there for them. They'll be going through those. More parts, side plates, more trommel, mini trommel frames up here. That's just on the small stuff. We've got some barrels waiting to be powder coated. So what happens is these are on a rail system up here. This rail goes all the way down, so we hang our parts on, and then down here at the end of the room, we come in here, and this is where we put on our powder coat. It's its own independent room, filtration system. We have rolling racks. You can spin your racks with each individual part on them so that you don't have to move around the part. You can just stand in one spot, spray your part, and then the part will spin as you need to get to the back side or the front side. Either way, this unit here, powder coat system I built, will hold 32 units. And the oven, we have another oven that we made out of an old freezer converted, put on a computerized PID system. This is for our big oven. This one draws 100 amps. Goes in here, and this is we have fan systems to suck the heat out. So how this works is this opens up, and then we have these legs that drop off, and they connect up to there. That completes the rail system, and then this whole rack system then slides into the oven, and this is the oven. This works off of electric. It takes about 10 minutes to hit 400 degrees. It's got about a foot of insulation surrounding it both ways. So it's a pretty effective system, but we need something that is high production. So that's a little bit of the powder coat operation. All these parts get DA'd and washed through a commercial washer, dried off, and then took in. And this is all powder, 50-pound boxes of powder in different colors. We've got more colors there. It's quite the operation, to say the least. And we come over here. This is where we build and assemble the motors. We build all the leads, solder on all the ends. We do them in hundreds at a time. Lots of stuff going on. Our parts bends, pieces, little lathe. Then we get back to the big main shop. This is where all the metal fabrication happens. We build barrels on a daily rate. These are all cube barrels right here going through. We have our TIG welders, our wire welders, our jigs, all of that stuff right here. All metal worktop benches. And then our receiving area over here is where they go and get washed before they get powder coated. This is a new double run machine. That's a 6-inch bigger machine. Will handle a lot of material. This machine over here is what we cut aluminum and steel out with. It's all CNC computerized. You throw basically a 5x10 sheet up there, select your parts in your library that you have designed and cut out, and away you go. Once it comes off of there, and we go over to our 33-ton press brake. This is a finger brake. It's got 40 different programs that'll hold 40 different settings. So we can load all of our settings into those programs for each end model, and then you could just walk up to it, hit your program, and start bending as you go. Some of the bigger units that we have that we make. Here's our hand shear and our 52-inch slip roller for rolling barrels. All the different sizes of punch plate that we use to make our barrels. Just some odds and ends. This is kind of a neat unit. So this will handle a 10-foot stick of tubing all the way up to 12 inches in diameter. What's unique about this is if you've ever cut thin-walled tubing, say like on a bandsaw or anything like that, you got to take it real easy because you'll mess up your $100 blade. So I built this unit. Like I said, it'll hold a 10-foot stick all the way up to 12-inch in diameter. So how it works is we can select our barrel speed, basically the tube speed. We're running about 54, which is about 80 inches per minute. This runs off 12 volt. I married it to a lathe chuck so we can chuck up to 12-inch diameter. And I can control the speed of that pipe. Now, we have a plasma cutter cutting from the inside, and we'll slice one just for fun. You guys might kind of like it, so let's do it. So here we go. It'll be loud. Takes about 9 seconds or so to make that cut. And there's the piece sliced off, true and square as it can be. So that's kind of cool. And we'll cut up, I can cut up 40 feet of that in about an hour and 10 minutes. So runs all off of that system. Anyway, that's a little bit of our shop and what we got going on, and it's kind of unique in its own way because everything really truly is hand built. So I'll jump back into the office here and get back on the main computer, I guess. So let's see. There we go. I'm back. Hold on there, Jack. There we go. Some reason I can't hear you.
Okay.
There we go.
Because when I left, I guess it shut me off. No wonder when I'm talking to you while you were in there working, you couldn't hear me because I've been.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I would have kept on going. Let me see who's been in here. Rupert, Richard, John, hello. Rocky Mountain Prospector, hello. Anybody? Don G, you guys jumped in there while we were busy. So you cut. That's the slick unit that plasma and that barrel that you built. I thought that was pretty cool. But you grabbed it. It wasn't hot when you grabbed it.
No.
I thought that stuff heats up and it gets hot.
There's a little flame there, but it's only 9 seconds of flame, and it's moving all the time. So you're really not focusing the heat in one spot in order to heat that whole part up. I don't know. I think I've grabbed so many hot things in 11 years that I don't have any fingerprints left. So
that might be a good thing.
Maybe.
Someday, No,
so it's very minimal heat on those when you cut them.
Okay. Yeah, so people are saying, Jack, you're muted. Okay. I hope I'm muted now, guys. I hope you guys can all hear me now. So, yes, I was muted. I was funny because as you're walking around, I would say something, and I'm thinking, I guess he can't hear me because he's on. Well, I guess he couldn't hear me because I'm muted.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah, I was. Well, when I left the room, it killed my earbuds, and so it muted me, I guess, when I came back. I never. Slick operation, Terry. That it was. Well, that keeps you very busy then. The powder coater. I just always thought powder coater. People say, yeah, I can only powder coat if it's about this big. I asked if you could cook beef jerky in that oven too.
I probably could.
Smoke it at the same time.
Well, you see that oven will go to 550 degrees if I want to take it there, but we only need 399 for 10 minutes to cure the powder. So normally when we start the day, I'll do the first run. I'll be putting powder on the units, and I'll have the oven sitting at idle at 400 degrees. And when I'm done putting powder on, I open up the doors, slide the racks in, close the doors, 10 minutes, and it's out, and it's getting assembled in the next half hour.
So when you powder coat, I'm assuming powder coating means that it's powder. How do you get that powder? Do you just like grab it and just chuck it onto the machine? Is it in a thing you spray on? How do you get the powder?
It has its own gun set up, and there's a hopper or a pot, they call it. I have a 5-pound pot that you pour 5 pounds of powder in, and the powder is very consistent as like baby powder. So it's that thin. It's really small microscope or micron, I guess you would call it. It goes through this gun with air pressure, and it is charged through ionic. So the ions charge the powder as it passes through the gun. When it comes out of the end of the gun, that powder is charged positive and negative. Your workpiece has a positive charge onto it, and it grabs it like this. And it's just put on kind of like dust would collect on anything, but this is, of course, under power. So once that happens and you get a good coat on there, then you transfer it into the oven, and the oven temperature at 400 degree solidifies that powder into a paint. So the powder is actually made of pulverized plastic particles. And that is actually what happens. It all melts down and melts into the metal to form a bond, and still get a good finish that looks good. It's fairly tough stuff.
Beyond me. Rocky Mountain Prospector says, yeah, he wants a mini monster in the trommel. How does anybody go about getting anything?
Well, you just go onto the website and you order. If at the time right now we're about a week and a half to 2 weeks out, meaning if you placed an order today, we wouldn't get your order done for 2 weeks probably. That's how busy we are. And like I said, I just hired 2 more guys and getting them trained in to what's going on in the operation. We're getting there. So once we get them up to full speed, we'll be able to make things happen a bunch quicker.
So if you want it for Father's Day, you better hurry and be ordering it.
True.
Ain't that what you always tell your wife and girlfriends? You say, honey, I got you dredge for Christmas. She'll say, dredge? I don't want no frickin' dredge. Oh, well, then I guess I'm just going to have to keep it, I guess, then.
I got one of them out back.
Yeah. What, the wife?
No, a dredge.
Oh. Yeah. So anyway, so what's the website that people got to go to?
If you go to www.goldfoxusa.com, it'll take you right to our website.
Terry says, how many staff on the manufacturing side?
Well, there used to be 2 of us, and there's now 4 of us.
So that's producing it. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me give away this bag of dirt. I got some dirt here. People like dirt. That last video that I did, what was I doing? Oh, dry washing. I used the dry washer. And that's what I did, right? I used the dry washer. And the dirt that was in there is right here. And there was gold in there. So I don't keep any gold. So I'm going to ask a question. And the first one in the chat room that answers it correctly will win that. Okay. Here's your question. I said I'm going to surmise. What was I surmising about? You know, sometimes these questions I've asked in the past, and like everybody just answers it so quickly and so easily. So I say I got to try to think of a harder, make them a little harder to see, and that was already harder. Nobody got it. Nobody gets it.
Trying to find out how good everybody's memory is.
That's what I'm saying. What it does is tell me who's watching the videos or not.
Yeah, right.
Not gold dry washing, BR 549. That there's still gold in them Dar Hills. You guys are all good guessers, but no, that's not what I was surmising about. Yeah, you'd really have to pay attention. John says wash. No, work pretty hard. Yeah, you guys are all wrong. Wrong. What did I say? I surmise. It's really a simple thing. If you think about it. Anyway, so, but you say with some. Okay, John got it. I'm going to give it to you, John. You're correct, John McAfee. We got a winner, John McAfee. I said I surmised that once upon a time this place was all underwater. So congratulations, John. I'll send that out to you. And yeah. So last week I went out looking for a UFO that was supposedly crashed out here in 1953. So somehow I found GPS coordinates then where it was at, and I went out there, and they have this area set up, which I find really strange. You're wearing that Route 66 T-shirt. That must be in honor of Arizona, right there.
Yeah, I was there. I was in Oatman. It was a fun place.
So right on the highway right there, they got this area called Area 66, which is kind of like a little museum, a UFO museum. It's got a big spear that's right there on the highway. So anyway, I stopped in there and checked that out, and they have, like I said, a little museum there, and they talked about some of the crashes around and that. So I went up to this area and I got into pretty close where I think it was at. I flew the drone around and I saw the burn spots, and then I compared that to pictures of other people posting. Somebody wrote a book years ago about this area. So I think I was in the same area. There was a guy up there in the Jeep and wondering what he was looking at me for, So I got to go back. I used a metal detector. I didn't find anything, but I did see some stuff with my infrared camera, and I used an EMI detector or thing, and it was picking stuff up. So that's worth investigating again. But anyway, so I did that.
Nice.
Once in a while you got to break. Oh, and I went underwater last Sunday too. I found a dime. It was all kind of rusted, and then I didn't have nothing to put nothing in, so I'm holding it in my hands. And then I had another target. There's so many targets down there. I was digging trash, and then I lost the dime, and I couldn't find it, and I just gave up. Screw it. I found a silver ring. It was just a cheap, but it was silver, and that was pretty cool. But so anyway, I put together a little video on that, so I did that too. But so yeah. At 97, memory is slow. Okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, so you guys can quit guessing. John got that. Okay, so I lost all my train of thoughts, but I had to send me your address, John. PM me. That way I don't have to go back and try to find it again. Just make sure I got it. Send it to me. Okay, so so the equipment that you do, so if somebody has, say, the Gold Cube, they can order just a trommel from you then. Or if somebody has a piece of high banker, they can order a trommel to adapt to that high banker.
The Gold Cube trommels are sold exclusively through Gold Cube. So I manufacture them. It's our machine, but Mike sells them exclusively.
So you have to order them through Mike.
Yes, if you want a Gold Cube model, you got to get those through Gold Cube. The toppers and all of that for sluices and that, or a complete unit, you can get them off our website.
Or do you ever do custom orders for people that say, hey, I got this 20-foot sluice and I need a 20-foot trommel. Can you build me one?
I have done that in the past, but that ends up taking so much time that we turn those down, because if you saw what was going on in our shop, the level of production is pretty high.
One thing I didn't see in there that I've heard that you've done, and I keep saying one day I got to order one from you, is your conveyor belt.
Oh, I got one in the back room in the other building. Actually,
are you still making?
Yeah, we're gearing up to be making them. Actually, my brother is going to be helping on that end of on the conveyor end. He's getting set up with the jigs and stuff so that we can pump out quite a few of those.
Cool.
Yeah. They're pretty a high demand item. One thing that we're doing with them is we're making them fold in half so that you don't have to pay huge shipping costs. And if you're going out to the field with one, you can fold it up in half and tuck it away in your vehicle without having to have a big trailer or something like that. So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone. It's easier on shipping, and then it's easier for storage or maneuvering around, getting it set up to where you want. It's a slick setup. 2 bolts, and you can fold it in half, put the 2 bolts back in, and put it out to its regular length. So a 10-footer will fold in half and be 5 feet long for shipping.
10 foot, that's perfect. Because I'm thinking, here's my thinking. I'm sitting in this wash and I'm chipping away at the bank and getting me some material, and my trommel is 10 feet away. I'm thinking, damn, I got to carry all this up to that trommel. Man, I could just set that conveyor to just go right up and dump right into that trommel. I can just sit there and just smoke my cigarettes and drink my beer and just put it on that thing and just let it just drift on up there and dump in. When I'm all done, go up there, clean up, get all the gold. Didn't even have to leave that spot.
That's right. And if you're digging with a shovel, you can be 6 feet from the conveyor, because that's fairly easy to hit the big hopper with a shovelful. You can just kind of turn around and throw that shovelful at the hopper, and you'll gain another 6 feet in length on top of that. But then you're going to need 2 of them, because you're going to need one to feed it, and you're going to need one on the waste rock end, because you're going to have a mound behind that trommel pretty quick.
Well, that's why I got a buddy up there cleaning things up.
Yeah. And with that setup there, it runs a 1.5 horsepower, 12-volt electric gear-driven motor, and that's about, I want to say, I think it's 12 inches wide, the belt is, so it's fairly bigger.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. 12 inches. Yeah.
And you don't really need the belt moving fast. It only needs to go about walking speed for a feed rate.
When you're talking walking speed, I remember this guy. He used to live out in this area. We're probably talking 20 years ago. He wanted to try something similar to that, and then we had these little shaker things that vibrated to shake material. So you'd shovel into them, and they would shake, and you put a bucket underneath of it to get all your material. Well, he didn't want to, so he bought one of these conveyors from the gym that you walk on.
Oh yeah.
and he used that and he set that up at the angle, so he was throwing his dirt on it, and it would go up there and fall into the shaker, and everybody was laughing at him and stuff. So that's a concept,
It is, and to make a conveyor, it's a different animal. There's a lot of engineering that goes into that so that you don't have tracking problems with the belt. One of the big problems is as the conveyor comes around, if you get a rock on top of the returning side of the belt and it goes down to where your idler end makes the turn, it'll throw your tracking off. So
Right.
then you get into things like your drive wheel is fluted, so it has flutes cut through it, and then it's built up in the center a little bit, so that makes that belt want to stay dead center in that roller. So if you get a rock in there, the fluted part will let the belt just keep turning without throwing the tracking off. And there's a lot of little things, but when you get the combination right, it works flawless.
No, that's so it does. It is in an angle like thing then.
Right,
It's not flat.
right. It's just got a little bit of belly in the belt, and then your drivers are opposite of the belly. They've got a rise in the center. So if your drive roller is this big for a 10-inch wide belt, down the center of it you would have a portion of probably 6 inches that's maybe an eighth of an inch higher than the outside, so that belt always wants to ride in the center of that roller.
I remember years ago somebody made some dry washer with a bunch of conveyors and a big hopper, and you shovel in, and it fell through, got on a conveyor, went up, dropped down, came down another conveyor, went over a dry washer thing, and the belt, though, it had adjustments on both sides of it to equal the whatever, and sometimes the belt would ride over, and then it would hit the thing and grind on the thing, and then you'd have
Right.
to have to get it to go back the other way, and it was a pain in the ass. You spend
And
more
one of the
time adjusting it than you did running it.
Right, and one of the most crucial things on a conveyor belt is the frame. You want to keep that frame from getting any twist in it. So as you tighten the belt up and you're loading, you don't want your frame having any flex in it from both ends, that you're getting this, because that will throw the tracking off like crazy. So that frame's got to be really light, but it's also got to be very strong to resist twisting of the frame. And that's one of the tough things to do, building a channel. As you get bigger, the problem gets worse. Because it's just more weight everywhere. So that's why you see all the triangulated braces most of the time in the bigger conveyors, is to have that really stiff frame.
Cool.
That's
So-
key to keeping the tracking.
So with all this work that you're doing, I mean, you've got so much work in there. You're going to be busy for. Do you ever get out in the field and play at all?
We do. I used to go 5-6 times, in the past, every summer for a week at a time. But here this last few years, it's only been a week per year I get out, because there's just so much stuff going on. I still get to go do things like camping and that, because we live right on a lake, and we, have a boat. We can go out and do that and play around and sightsee, and we get to do that. But actually getting in the field, I don't get to do as much as I used to.
It just dawned on me, one of the questions I had a while back on that mini monster and that trommel. How good is that? You mentioned beach stuff. How good is that in when you get into a lot of black sand, especially like say dredge tailings and all of that? You're concentrate running black sands. How good is that for black sands?
Well, it would depend on which mat you're going to run. I think the urethane mat is pretty good with black sands, as you know, because you've ran that mat in your system. Most of the time, that mini, it's only 5 inches wide on the sluice width, but it's like 36 inches long. You're probably good for 2 5-gallon buckets before you have to do a clean out. So classified, yeah. As far as I think you would just have to watch it if you were in a lot of black sand. You just want to make sure you wouldn't flat board, like fill all the riffles up with black sand and then everything rides over the top. It's going to come into sluice angle and how much water you're sending through it. You're just going to have to watch it if you got a lot of black sand.
So then, do you got a device working that on the header of your trommel, or I mean of your sluice, when it starts to go down, you've got these rollers that go around, and it's a magnet, so it picks up all the black sand, and then it flips it onto another tray, and then it washes it and gets it away from the sluice?
Yeah, I don't have that yet. I've thought about it, but there's only so many things I can manufacture, Jack.
So do you like lay in bed at nighttime and you're like talking to the girlfriend or the wife and you're saying, I'm really tired, honey, but you know what? I got to get up. I just got this idea. I got to go to the shop.
I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a problem with something and you figure out the cure in your sleep. Yeah, get up and write that down because you'll forget about it by morning.
So you never get a rest.
No, my brain is always going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like I said, camping and that kind of thing, getting out and doing something different than what we normally do every day. You know, this will be coming in March. Will be our 12th year, so I probably have built. I stopped counting at 12,000 units.
Wow.
So if you do the math, that's about 1,100 units a year is what we produce.
Well, like I said, I remember the first ones I saw, I was back east, and then gold camps back there, whether it was like Loud Mine or Bane Mountain or whatever it was. May have been Loud. Keep seeing that name, Gold Fox. Man, they sure are cool looking, type thing. But so yeah, it's been around for a long time.
Yeah, we have been, and we never stay stagnant with one thing. We're always improving. As you know, like the trommel setup for the minis, I just wanted something very small that older people would understand, because they may not have the strength anymore to go get these bigger machines and do this, and they just want that ease of having something smaller that will fit in their camper real easy and tuck away in the corner, or you can put in your backpack or whatever. That system works pretty good because there's really there's nothing else on the market that compares with it, basically.
No, not of anything of just backpackable and easy to work. I mean, you've
Right.
got well, I don't want to say any names, but you got that other trommel that's this great big 2 feet tall and this little dinky box, and it's only got an opening like that. Well, you could, I mean, that'd be hell to backpack in someplace.
Right.
And all that is really just a trommel. And then, well, actually, you can run that trommel, and then it goes in. You can get the little scooper thing that goes into a spot, a wheel. What? Anyway, okay. I won't say too many bad things about that company. That's an okay one. Terry says, do you make one that'll fit my 10-inch Cali sluice, number 2B?
Cali sluice, is that the plastic sluice?
Is that the California sluice? Is that what that is?
I think it is like 2B.
California, whatever they call that.
Yeah, it would be like the La Trappe sluice, but I think Jeff Davis makes it Geo Sluice Mining.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to build frames for those, and we when Jeff was getting started, and then of course we have so much stuff to get to build all the time, but I did make quite a few frames that mounted trommels to them, and you could slide the sluice in and out to do clean outs. It was real simple.
Oh, Terry says no, it's an over and under sluice.
Over and under, okay.
What does that mean? Sure.
Basically, the Omni toppers would fit a sluice from 6 inches wide all the way up to 13 inches wide. So if you have an aluminum sidewall, the brackets would bolt onto that, and then they're adjustable this way to set your width for your trommel. Well,
I've been saying for the last months that I have to update my intros and outros in my videos, and so I know a new piece of equipment that I'm going to have to incorporate. But I've been waiting for dredging because I've got to get some good dredge stuff,
Yeah.
So, and I haven't been dredging, and God, well, we went to Colorado several years ago dredging, but It's been a long time since I've been dredging because out here in Arizona we just get the dry stuff.
Yeah.
So I try to go out in the desert, fill a few buckets early in the morning. Like right now it's 170 degrees, and then get back to camp. And then by the time you get set up, and the bad thing about summers is you are the only water source around. Whether if you don't have water, the water in your skin, every bug, gnat, fly, they find your ass.
They
And
want
out there, every bit of water you have, they'll find you. So you have to get up early in the morning before the critters, the bugs get up to run your stuff. Because once the sun comes up, man, they're all out. So you got to try to do it before the sun comes up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good times right there.
Scuba diving and dredging. That's right. Hey, all right there, Kelly. Did we cover everything?
I think we did. I don't know. There's probably something we forgot, but it's okay.
I'm sure there is. One of the coolest things that I think you've ever made that I just find absolutely fascinating, and that was my cup holder on the
You got to keep that beer. You got to keep whatever you're drinking from getting stepped on.
Oh, I know. And put it out, have it out of the way. I thought that was cool. And then I didn't see those, but that would work on that unit right there. And that's that other thing I got from you that collapses, so magnetic to put your nuts and bolts in. That was another cool little idea that you had.
Yeah. And for this unit, there really is no nut or bolt to take out to remove your matting. That's fixed into the sluice. It just slides out and it slides back in. So on your other unit, that magnetic collapsible tray is great because when you take the bolts out, you can put them in there. I always will take the wing nut off, take the hold down plate, but I'll put the bolt back in the hole so that no gold may fall through that hole when you're doing that washout, the final washout of the sluice.
Yeah.
But on the mini stuff, there's really no bolts other than these two pivot bolts that go here to hold it. But you sure could put that on there.
No, that was that just shows your brain, your mentality of a problem, because I have done that so many times. You take the bolt out and you set it down, and then before you know it, it's gone. Right. Wing nuts, they disappear all the time.
Yeah, and you drop those in gravel, they just get sucked in like quicksand. They're just gone.
Okay. So anybody wants to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you? They want to order all this cool stuff you got, find prices. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, you go to our website, www.goldfoxusa.com, and you'll see there's parts and there's product, and you can even send a live chat to us, and we'll get to it. If we don't answer it right away, we'll eventually get to it. It's just the growing pains of keeping on top of everything. But that's the best way to get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us too by phone. The direct line to the shop is 406-278-9975. And we're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Do you have a Facebook page or YouTube?
We do. We have a Facebook page, Gold Fox USA, and there's a lot of updates and some videos, and then a lot of the users can put their videos up, or chat rooms and that. We also have a product page on Facebook, Gold Fox product page, that will have discussions on, if you want to change something or do this or do that different, or anything new coming from us, will be on there as well.
Cool. Well, looking forward to my new unit, and we'll put that to a test.
It should be good. You should be like, man, why didn't I think of this?
No, I don't. I gave up on that a long time ago. Now it's just like, how can I do something easier?
I'll see if I can whip you out a drink holder for it.
You know, I had to give up drinking beer.
Right.
So now I drink near beer or soda or whatever. But hey, no.
Sure.
But I tell you what, when I saw that thing, I almost died because I thought that was the coolest thing. I was better than the whole machine.
Yeah, and it's not plastic either. That's all metal, American made, right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this goes right over the leg. That fit on any machine almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cut out. Anyways, all right. Hey, Kelly, appreciate all your time hanging with us this evening, sharing some of your knowledge and showing your cool setup and everything. You got a great product. Wish you tons of luck in the future and more success and continue to grow, man.
Yeah, we're gonna just keep pounding it and keep producing and maybe make some more cool stuff that's been waiting in the wings for a few years. I got some other cool stuff that no one has seen, but that's for later. So
get on the Facebook pages and all that, so you'll be the first one to see anything that comes out. Be you know, they always say be ahead of the game. So get on there and see what's going on. And if you're not subscribers to the channel here, make sure you're a subscriber to the channel here. So anyways, all right, good. Kelly, appreciate your time, man. You have yourself a fantastic week, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Sounds good, Jack. I'll get that boxed out and shipped out.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. All right, you guys all have a fantastic evening yourself. Have a fantastic week. We thank you guys turning in, joining us again. So until we meet again, take care, everybody. Thank you, and we'll see you guys all later. Goodbye.
Sounds good.